Hey, how you doing, everybody? It's Del K. Birch, and this is the Real Spiel. Call it the night edition. Put a little light on so you can see it, brother. I'm heading up the road there. Go hang out with Batgirl for a minute. But I need to drop some stuff on you. Check out the new fit. Absolutely. Come on now. I've got it all happening. I told you guys about China. I got my Chinese stuff organized. I got my boy John Leaks, who's ordered some sneakers. The sneakers went out of, we ran out of supply on these sneakers. My first Soul Fang by Dell ran out of supply, and I'm trying to hook him up and get him the sneakers he wants. But geez, man, stuff is in demand for real. Anyway, that's not what I came to talk about. And I apologize to all of my subscribers and all of the people who are members. It's been a crazy month for me with work, with just Christmas and being a little bit under the weather, and we've been busy, so it's out of my character. But also, I don't like paltry content. I wanted to start the year strong. So I'm taking my time to really push out hard content, and I told you guys in the last couple broadcasts that I'll be ready to go. I needed another day to get my energy up. I'm back to doing some lives, and I'm working some really serious hours right now. So I'm getting a project that we're doing off the ground. It's still in construction. It's a brand new corporate hotel. So a lot of things going on with me. I apologize. This ain't going to be what it's going to be, and I know people have messaged me, said we miss you and we need you to come back. We need you to pick up the slack. I've got some stuff from Demona that I got some stuff I got to sew into some of the videos. I'm going to do all that, but let's get rolling. Listen, some of us got to realize too, and I'm one of these people too, that when you reach a certain mentality in your life and you understand who you are as a black person, and you understand who you are as a black man or a black woman, when you step into movement mentality and you realize that you're not about having individuals socially rape you or put you in a position where your humanity is being marginalized. Listen to me, you can't go everywhere anymore. You can't go everywhere anymore because really when the rubber hits the road, everybody, people aren't ready for us in this new state of mind. People aren't ready for us in this new state of mind. And there are places that you can go in the world and you can get in real trouble. Now, I'm not talking about North America, okay? I know a lot of us feel that this movement travels, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. And you might show up in a place in the world and try to activate this mentality, this black militant mentality, this mentality that we shall be recognized. And I'm sorry, but the extreme worldwide racism against people of the black diaspora is so powerful in some places. It can't even be actualized or realized in respect to getting the respect that you think that you're supposed to get. You won't get it. In fact, you might get yourself in a whole lot of trouble. So let me just identify what I'm talking about specifically. Like, you got places where, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar. Okay, I'm going to talk about these two places specifically because there are places in the world where black people can really take their lives in their own hands and say, listen, I'm gonna go to Saudi Arabia and work. I'm gonna go to Qatar and work. A lot of Africans have tried that. A lot of Filipinos have tried it. Nannies in respect to the Filipinos, in respect to Africans, both men and women, domestics for the women, and sometimes men who have some type of business acumen, whether it be accounting or some other kind of business acumen, have been able to get work in Qatar, namely Qatar, and also Saudi Arabia. Now, these two places, you cannot be a citizen. You have to get a special visa to get you there. And so let me tell you how a lot of times this thing works. They're going to get you there a lot of time as quick as possible because they need you. They need what you bring to the table, whether it's the domestic, whether it's professional. But they're going to get you there usually on a visa that is very restrictive. So if you go to Saudi Arabia or Qatar on some kind of chauffeur, that's what they do with men. They make you a chauffeur. Your job's not a chauffeur, but they can get those domestic servant licenses real fast, right? Because in those countries, many of the people, they're affluent. They want servants, so they'll import a servant and utilize a servant and get a servant's visa much quicker than they'll get a visa for somebody who's actually doing a job that another Saudi Arabian or a Qatarian can do. And so they'll get you a visa as a butler, a chauffeur, a driver, and then that visa restricts you. It means that you can't leave until your employer releases you. It's basically domestic slavery. They control your movements. They control whether you can leave the country based on that visa, right? So that's part one. That's just the work part of it. The work part of it is that many times you go into these situations and you're like, yeah, this is great money. This is good money. It's better than the money I'm coming from. It's a good opportunity for me because you're in that working poor demographic, which many of us live. Working poor demographic is anybody making $70,000 and under. You're the working poor. That's who you are. You're the working poor. That means that you can't go a month without getting paid. You'll lose everything. You'll lose your car, your house, won't have nowhere to live. People come looking for you. You're the working poor. You don't have the capacity to put yourself up even for 2 months and sit back and say, yeah, I ain't gonna work for 2 months. I'm good. I'll be all right. You're the working poor. And so when you're that's not a diss. The working poor is a real thing. And the world wants you because the working poor don't miss work. They can't afford to miss work. They come to work sick. They come to work whether their kids got problems. They come to work whether people have died in their family. They come to work 9 months pregnant because they're the working poor. They got to. And so when you are that, and you have put yourself now in the hands of some of these Arabs, these Arabs are not a joke, okay? They will lock you up. They will put you in serious conditions, baby. You can't do it. I'm telling you. If I move on from Qatar and Saudi Arabia, let me not move there first. The perspective of a black person in Saudi Arabia or Qatar is when they see you, they think you're a servant. Immediately, you'll be asked to, randomly asked, "Oh, pick this up for me, carry this for me." You're just walking down the street, bro. I'm telling you, they will treat you like a servant because they think that you're there for them. Even if you're not their servant, you are a servant, and they feel that you should do servantile things. Okay. Moving on from other places, China. Do not think that you can pick up. Wow, I almost ran over something. I wasn't supposed to run over that. Don't think that you can just pick up and just go to China and think that you're going to just run through China and be like, I'm black and I'm proud in China. You got to be careful, man. You can't do it in them communist countries. Cannot play around in them communist countries. They don't have the same type of laws. They don't have the same. You don't have rights in those countries. You saw what they did to Britain and Russia, right? So those type of governments, those I can never say this word. Totalitarian, yes, I gotta slow down to say it. Regimes are not a joke. They're not a joke. This is one of the reasons a man as traveled as myself. I don't want to go on no Dubai trip. Okay? You girls, y'all run into Dubai. I'm not interested. I don't want to go to Dubai. I don't want to go to Saudi Arabia. I don't want to go to Qatar. Okay? I don't want to go to Russia. I don't want to go to China. I don't want to go to none of those places. See why I couldn't do a live? I've been coughing all the time. Some of the times, on my last few videos, I've been just editing so I can get through the whole video without coughing. I don't want to do a live in this condition. I want to be ready. So, what I'm trying to tell you is the movement doesn't always travel. And let me tell you why. Because if we get stuck up, strung up in one of these countries, nobody's coming for us, baby. Nobody's coming for us. Look how long it took them to come get Brittney Griner. I mean, Brittney Griner, a lot of folks thought, yo, Brittney gonna be there for a few years. They thought Brittney's gonna sit around there for a few years, man. And even if we don't use Brittney Griner as an example, and you just use good old white boys who served in the military, they can't make deals for those guys. They ain't gonna make deals for you. Brittney Griner, lucky, she got to give all the praises to God, because Brittney had no business getting out of there. No business. You go check my videos, and when I said release Brittney Griner, Mr. Putin, release Brittney Griner. Listen, I think when I put my mouth on things, God listens. That's what I think. I don't know what you think, but I've seen it happen with me. I'm not taking any credit for the Brittney Griner's release, but I'll say it again. When I open my mouth, God listens. I ain't gonna say it again. But black folk, listen to me. We need to hammer down the institutions of nationhood in the places that we already have roots. You know another thing that I'm going to mess with you with? And I'm going to get some African people real mad at me maybe, but do you know how difficult it is for Canadian, Afro-American to pick up and think you're going to go back to Africa and run stuff? I'm not talking about starting businesses and stuff. You might be okay. You might be all right to start a business. You might get over there and have something to offer business-wise. But what if you want to run the country? What if you want to be a politician in Africa? Do you know what African politics is like? It is not a joke. I got a good friend of mine in Canada, most of his middle adult life, businessman over here, and he ran for election in Ghana. First time, they railroaded him. They fixed the election against him. Second time, he did his due diligence, and he got in. He won. He won the election. He's like an MP. He's like a minister of parliament, or in America, like a congressman. He won that kind of thing. And when he got in, the opposition party, actually they were the ruling party, he's the opposition, but the ruling party said, hey, this guy did not give up his Canadian citizenship in time for him to be eligible to run. Therefore, he's not eligible to win. This is after he won. This is not while he was running. They didn't bring it up while he was running. They brought it up after he won. They wouldn't let him vote. And every time they held the vote, and the votes were close because, you know, they had an even scenario in the parliamentary, right? They had even, the votes were tight because they needed every single vote. It was even. They wouldn't want to honor his votes, and they took him to court, tried to get the election overturned. The crooks and the hooks, man. This is a brother now. Ran for election in his own country where he was born. But grew up, but he was in Canada. He didn't grow up here actually. He grew up in Ghana. Came here as a young man, an adult young man. Built a career here, made some money, became a good businessman, investor, and decided he's going to go back to Africa and help his people where he was born. They gave him hell. Hell. They gave that man hell. He's a Ghanaian by birth. They gave that man hell. And they still giving him hell. He's still in court dealing with that. Telling you, this movement don't travel everywhere. And I'm going to say something that's going to shock a lot of you. Some of you, the best chance you got is in America. Best chance you got is in America. And let me explain what the chance I'm talking about. Because you still need to be international, because America's a big slave colony. When I say the best chance you got, the best chance you got at running things, baby. You ain't coming, listen, you ain't trying to simply just be a businessman no more. I told you, I showed you that. Everybody, I heard Kyrie Irving's Instagram just got deleted tonight. Like I heard all kind of stuff tonight. Listen, your wealth, your athletic prowess, your acting skills, all that stuff in America means very little. Because America bows to power, it's Rome. And the power players in America, either are let in because they're docile, or they're struck down because they're too much for the American machine. They're either let in because they're docile. Let him lead. Let him calm everybody down. He's a pacifier. Let him speak. Put mics in his mouth. He gonna calm everybody down. He gonna make these Negroes obey us. Or they strike him down because this one's too good. This one's too good. Listen, they're gonna let the extreme fringe people talk their head off. You know, I came on the other day talking about my good friend Casper's Fume, right? A man who could be a dangerous man in America. I said, how dangerous are you though, Rabbi Fume? Are you dangerous enough? Because Rabbi Fume is the kind of guy that if he rose up in the right way, people say, hey, we need to silence him. He's making too much sense. He's got too much credentials. But I tell you right now, they ain't never going to kill Umar Johnson. They never going to kill Dr. Umar. Because Dr. Umar for them is fringe. He's almost entertainment for them. They don't have to be afraid of Dr. Umar. He's not calm enough. He's not polished enough. He's not galvanizing enough. He's not dangerous enough. Because Umar is staying in his lane. Oh Lord, you can't see nothing out here, boy. Umar is staying in his lane. Umar is saying, I'm just here for black people. I'm just here to black people. That's it. I'm here to hang out. I'm here to empower black people. That's it. Now, when you're a galvanizer, when you're a man that can draw them all, you can draw everybody to the table. You bring in everybody to the well to listen, to sit down and say, hey, I kind of like what he's got to say. I kind of agree with that. I kind of understand where he's coming from with that one. That's when you become dangerous. I'll tell you right now why people listen to me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Because I make sense to everybody. I make sense to everybody. I can call out the Jews, and the Jew will say, hey, you know what, you're not wrong about that. I can call out a Muslim will say, well, you know, brother ain't wrong about that. This movement does not travel. America is the best bet that us, I have to call us what we are, that us repatriated Africans, that's what we are. We are repatriated, or in the process, or in spirit. I'm a repatriated African because I got a passport from an African country. But some of you haven't gone that far, but you have the awakening and the awareness of who you are. Some of you are in spirit saying, I want to be that. You are repatriated. But in your repatriation, you're still stateless. You still don't have a nation. Demona. The Demonans have repatriated themselves to Israel. They live in Israel. They learn in Israel. They build families in Israel. But they are still stateless, many of them. They are still stateless because those that have not chosen to bow down to the rules of the state of Israel are still outside of the catchment of being legitimized. And the same issue they're having, they're going to keep having, the same issue that's happening in America. Unless you control. I'm scare you now. Wait a minute. Wait for me. Let's time out. Oh, I'm on here 20 minutes. You're going to get it all. I don't care. You're going to get it all. Unless you control the mechanisms of violence. Unless you control the institutions of power. That's communication, lawmaking, and creating fiduciary instruments that you control. Those are the institutions of power, right? And number 4 is the military systems, right? And they are also the mechanisms of violence. Mechanisms of violence has always been communication first. They called it propaganda in the 30s and on. Mechanisms of violence are always that which can create instruments, putting yourself on the money and declaring that this fiat is currency and the trade in it is wealth. Come on, man. It used to be gold is wealth, silver is wealth, even oil is wealth. That's not what it is now. If I own a piece of paper that our people have created, if I own more of those pieces of paper than you, I am richer than you. Imagine you walking around with $100 million of gold and another guy walking around with $100 million of paper with a dead white man on it. He's saying to you, we both rich. Imagine. Because America's true currency is violence. Do you understand me? And some of you don't understand. There ain't nothing wrong with that currency. I want some of that doggone currency too. Because the threat of violence is currency. Violence is currency. The threat of violence is currency. What is currency? That which can be traded for what you want. Told you I just needed some time to clear my throat. That's all I needed. If you don't control the mechanisms of violence, you don't control nothing. And America's your best bet. You see, let me tell you something. That before Christmas time, they were trying to ban me. They were trying to ban me. Yes, they were. Many of y'all don't even know the story. I tried to come to Chicago and they banned me from crossing. Y'all don't even know that. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to dishearten you. I wanted to keep you going. They banned me from crossing. Didn't even give me an excuse or a reason. And luckily, I talked to a brother in the American customs system, and he told me he told me what to do, and said don't cause no trouble because they can ban you for 5 years. Right now, it seems like it's something it can go away on its own. Somebody can just send a word, bro, and stop you from being able to move. Can't lie, that's power. They can stop your money, stop your movement. That's power. I didn't want to lead with that, but I'm telling you, that's what happened to me. That's why the Chicago thing changed for me. I had a whole bunch of dates booked down there. I didn't want to give the haters any type of any type of, I didn't want to give them a win. But that's what happened. That's what happened. This is all my people were trying to make movements behind the scenes to say, what's going on? Wow. They stopped this dude. Listen, I'm an ex-cop. I'm an ex-politician. I'm a leader in Canada. Okay? I'm a leader in Canada. You can Google me, baby. You Google me, I'm Googleable. Okay? Very few individuals from my demographic have the reputation, stellar reputation that I have in this country. And these guys were able to say some nonsense. Who knows what they said? And had me stuck up at the border. I couldn't believe it. I was embarrassed. At the same time, I was like, no, I'm not going to let them win. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to make this happen some way. Some way it's going to make it happen. I was supposed to meet individuals who, this brother that I was supposed to meet, a Jewish man, Bruce Rosenstock. I spoke to him. I was going to meet with him. That man died. That man died before I came in. One of the greatest Jewish men I've ever had a conversation with. I was supposed to come on here and talk about him before. They just did a funeral for him. He was a professor of history with the University of Illinois. Great man. When I spoke to him, I said, oh my God, God is allowing me to speak to a man who is legendary in respect to his mentality. He is for us. A Jewish man for us. Never met one. But that guy. Wow. I mean, I wish what the conversation we had, I truly wish I would have done a live with him. I didn't want anybody to rustle his feathers because he was dying of cancer. This man's position, Bruce Rosenstock, his position, his mentality, wow. Wow, all I gotta say is wow. A Jewish man who everything I said, that's right, ADL, yup, that's right, I don't agree with that, oh my God, and an intellect at the same time. There's so many men, in this world who we will be shocked by, who know our history as well as us. This brother took me down a historical journey. When I posted that James Baldwin message on the community page, you can go back and take a look. It was him that led me to that. It was him that led me to Lincoln's letters. Man, but I'm here to tell you, America is giving black people the best shot to not just control money, to control the mechanisms of violence. That's your truest currency. That's the truest currency in the world. What is this man saying? This man saying he's going to create violence? No, man, I'm not trying to tell you that. I'm trying to tell you how to become a nation. And I was going to say, my whole spiel for the last few minutes was this. They won't even try to ban me for the stuff I'm saying. Because I'm not saying anything against Jewish people. I'm not saying anything against the status quo people of power who control communication. They're violent with it. They're violent with it. They're violent with it. Let me tell you something. They're violent with it. They control communication, ladies and gentlemen. And if I don't say nothing against them, my YouTube, my Instagram, it's safe. I can talk about blacks. I can talk about racism. I can talk about anything. I can talk about weapons, guns, warfare. Talk about anything on here, but don't mention the Jews. Hey, just that right there, I might get banned for that. Anyway, I'm here to explain to you that the movement doesn't always travel. And sometimes you need to look around and say, you know what, we've laid up some roots in here. The state of Georgia, y'all laid up some roots in there. The state of Texas, y'all laid down some roots in there. New York City, New York State, upstate New York. Even some of the other southern states that I am not as familiar as you are in respect to the infrastructure that you have put down. Control the police departments. Start there. Let's get some black infusion in your police forces. All black police forces. Get it in there. Black militia movements. I told y'all, don't be signing up for the military. They send you to go fight in another place when you need to fight at home. Let's organize that. You've already done the black banks. Good. Keep doing that. Black trust companies, black banks, keep doing that. Black real estate developments, black towns, keep doing that. And then get yourself some black municipal politicians, black councilors, black school trustees, black mayors. And make sure those people are in there for you. Don't let another nation pay more into their situation. If a Jew or an Italian or a Latino community helps a black person get elected, that person is their person then. They know who got them in there. We got to get our own people in there. Let them know, baby, I put you here and I can take you out. Hey, I just wanted to come on here, talk to you about the movement doesn't always travel. They ain't going to treat us good everywhere else. Shoot, you leave your own place where you were born for too long, they're going to call you a stranger. I need you to understand the ground that you're standing on is sometimes a place that you need to build from. Sometimes it ain't. Sometimes it is. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. I'm back, but let me clear my throat a little bit, and I'll hit out these lives, okay? Love, peace, and hair grease. Listen, I ain't afraid of you ninjas. It's 2023, baby, and I'm back. I'll talk to you soon.